Defense Research and Development Organization has completed a design phase of the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, India's indigenous fifth generation stealth fighter jet. With government approval secured in April last year, the project is now progressing towards its first prototype flight by late 2028. Designed with cutting-edge technology, the AMCA aims to rival existing fifth-generation fighters like Russia's Su-57 and the United States F-35 and F-22.
India is not just a spectator in this high-tech showdown. What you see here is India's own fifth-generation fighter jet called Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, or Amca, being developed by the Aeronautical Development Agency. While this is still under development stage, this is the first time that a model of the Amca is being showcased in a public forum, in a public platform at the Aero. We have with us the man who's heading the project for India's fifth generation aircraft, Amca, Mr. Nagesh KS. So thank you so much for joining us. Tell us more about this technology, because we are already seeing fifth generation fighter jets flying outside. How far are we from having our own fighter jet in the skies?
See, as you see today in the Aero India show, there is a F-35 and a Su-57. And I would equally say that Amca is the Indian answer to the world in terms of the fifth generation fighter jet what we have been producing. The capabilities of this aircraft are equally or at par, I would say, with all the current generation fighter jets which you have been seeing in the air show. Now we have completed the critical design of this aircraft and we are now into the stage of manufacturing of this. So you will see the prototypes of this aircraft populated with all the systems together flying very soon. We are targeting this by possibly the end of 2027 to in the first quarter of 2028. You can see this aircraft. The aircraft is done in a shaping in such a way that there is no radar signature which will be given to an enemy radar. So we have done the shaping in such a way, by shaping itself you get about 70 to 80% of its the stealth capability out of this aircraft by the airframe platform.
Then by when can we see Amca joining the Air Force fleet?
As we said, we to take and build this aircraft, it takes about 2 to 2.5 years from now. From then on, there is lot of flight testing we will have to do to evaluate every performance which we have planned as a design parameter. So all these design parameters will be validated during the flight testing process, and then as and when we finish off that, maybe possibly in terms of the timelines, maybe it may take about 2.5 years to 3 years timeline, which should be there in the service.
Does that mean 5 years?
From now on, maybe we target about 5 years. Stealth comes basically from the platform of this aircraft. You can see that the edges, the way in which it is shaped, edges.
Yeah.
You can see the shapes of this aircraft, which have been made in such a way that there are no reflections coming out of this aircraft. Even the serrations, whatever you see, the reflections will get absorbed into it, and then we use more and more radar absorbing structures, radar absorbing paints to absorb the radar signatures, and then it will not emit out of this aircraft. These are the internal weapons which are there in this aircraft. The internal weapons means, as I said you, this is the beyond visual range missile which has the capability of target reaching up to about 100 kilometers from the point of its trigger. So we have air-to-air capability and air-to-ground capability. These are the air-to-ground weapons, these are called glide bombs, which are having about 80 kilometers of range, and that is also equivalent of that. So these are all completely indigenous weapons developed by our DRDO laboratories, sister laboratories, and then these are the ones which are going to be embedded inside to the internal weapon bay of Amca, and this will be fired by the pilots based on the requirements, as the aircraft is having the swing roll capability. A lot of sensors on this aircraft. The sensor data fusion is one important technology which we have been embarking in this Amca. And the sensor data fusion helps the pilot to ascertain the target, its proper coordinates or the location, and then he will be able to take a proper decision in firing a right weapon onto the target. There are several adversaries which have been there to the aircraft by itself, like the aircraft is approached through a missile or something. Now aircraft can take a decision to release its weaponry or take an evasive action by releasing some shaft and flares. These are will already automated onto this aircraft, and the technology levels towards this have been worked out by our scientists and engineers. And when you see the Amca flying, all these technologies will be embedded into the, and this is what makes the Amca 5.5 generation, and when it be entered to the service, it will still be contemporary.